Welcome to this presentation of UPSL Soccer Action, live on YouTube and presented by the Atlantic Soccer Media Group.
The wait is over and it's time to punch your way into the national playoffs. It's Kalonji Pro Profile and Atlanta City FC, and it's next.
Hey coach, is your game going to be live streamed? Can't find a broadcast partner? I have the solution for you. It's time to contact the Atlantic Soccer Media Group. The Atlantic Soccer Media Group will provide you with the most extensive live coverage and affordable rates to bring your club's matches to your fans, so they will never miss any of the action.
Shot ripped. It's in! Dalton United at the death of the game! They go ahead, and this stadium is sent to raptures!
And bring them along with you as you raise the trophy.
Gentlemen, say it with them. They are the champions.
So what are you waiting for? For the best and easiest coverage, national exposure, attract sponsors, interact with your fans, work with scouts from around the world? Contact the Atlantic Soccer Media Group.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Charlie Jordan Field here at Shiloh Stadium, Snellville, Georgia, for this UPSL Georgia Premier Division Fall Playoff Finals. Kalonji Pro Profile and Atlanta City FC. Larry Weaver bringing you all the warm-up before this match. And we have a wonderful match to bring you here at Charlie Jordan Field. Two teams that have gotten here a little bit in an interesting way. Look at the playoffs. You can see that SSL falls to Kalonji Profile in the first round. That was something that we didn't care to think that was going to happen. But the one that was a stunner, the Giant Killers, Atlanta City FC defeating Atlanta United Academy 4-2. They make it in to the semifinals. They take on Dalton United. There's no chance that they're going to win that match. No. 4-3. They win that match, and they make it here to the finals. Kalonji Pro Profile, they were expected to be here. Atlanta City, they weren't even expected to be in the playoffs. They had to earn a win in the last week of the regular season to even make it to the playoffs. So this is a major milestone for Atlanta City FC. First time that they've ever been in the final match of the playoffs. Kalonji Pro Profile, they've been here before. They've punched their ticket to the national playoffs before. So it's going to be an interesting matchup to see what happens. Coverage is going to be by Jason Longshore and Jess Chapman here in just a few moments. just about to get kicked off. Look at the home schedule for Kalonji Pro Profile. They had to take on Dalton United right off the bat, came right back against FC Birmingham, had an amazing match in the Kalonji Derby, taking on SSL. Back and forth that match went. 5-3 was the victory. Then had a good run, had that draw to Club the Strongest. That was a little bit of a stumble in their eyes. They defeated Atlanta City 5-2 in the middle of the regular season, and then they had a run. Another stumble was that 2-2 draw against Atlanta United Academy. So they kind of struggled with some of the higher teams, and they were able to defeat some of those lower seed teams. When you look at Atlanta City's run, they had to take on SSL right off the bat with a 4-2 loss. Los Tigres, Legends FC, able to beat them easily. Was that North Georgia United draw? That was a little interesting. North Georgia not so good this year. They had a stumble. They were out of the playoffs. FC Birmingham later on in the season, a draw there, and then a draw to Dalton United. That was a major score, and they really had to put it on in that last match against Potros FC to make it into the playoffs. That's how we get here. We talk about what is next. After this match, it goes to the national tournament. Punch their ticket in will be the winner of this match. They will take on the winner of Kentucky-Tennessee next weekend, and then they go on their way. Southeast region will go into the Final Four. It's always somebody. Last season, it was the national winners, AS Frenzy, from the Florida Conference, that were able to lift that trophy and be national champions. That's what we have in store for tonight. We will step away, and when we come back, it will be Jess Chapman and Jason Longshore on the call. Don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey coach, is your game going to be live streamed? Can't find a broadcast partner? I have the solution for you. It's time to contact the Atlantic Soccer Media Group. The Atlantic Soccer Media Group will provide you with the most extensive live coverage and affordable rates to bring your club's matches to your fans, so they will never miss any of the action.
Good ball laid off to that far side. Shot ripped. It's in! Dalton United at the death of the game! They go ahead, and this stadium is sent to raptures.
And bring them along with you as you raise the trophy.
Gentlemen, say it with them. They are the champions.
So what are you waiting for? For the best and easiest coverage, national exposure, attract sponsors, interact with your fans, work with scouts from around the world? Contact the Atlantic Soccer Media Group.
Welcome into Snellville, Georgia, Shiloh High School, the location for the UPSL Georgia Premier Division Championship match and a berth in the national tournament on the line tonight as the number 3 seed KSA Pro Profile faces the number 7 seed Atlanta City FC. I'm Jason Longshore, joined by Jessica Charman. And Jess, finals seem to be something we've been getting a lot of lately, and when you go into a final with a team that has been there and done that like KSA, and a team that has been the giant killers in the playoffs, they've beaten the number 1 seed, they've beaten the number 2 seed in Atlanta City. What are the things you walk in and kind of look for with a team with experience and a team maybe learning how to do this for the first time?
I think it's interesting, Jason, because when you look at this one on paper with Atlanta City, you'd obviously consider them the underdog, but when you look at their pathway to get here and the fact they've scored 8 goals across 2 matches against oppositions that were ranked higher says that they're fearless. They may have a little bit of naivety in them. It's really important that they get off to a bright start, and they have to be able to face adversity. With KSA, you said it. They've been there. They've done that. They understand the weight of a final, but at the same time, perhaps they can come in a little bit complacent. So it's about the mindsets of both these teams being correct, being switched on. And for me as a player, anytime I was in a big matchup like this, all I wanted was that first touch to be correct, to ease those nerves and to make sure I set that standard from the very first impact I had in the match.
These two teams know each other really well. Quite a few former KSA players in the Atlanta City roster. A lot of players from the same area of the city in Clarkston and DeKalb County. But this is a KSA team that hosted SSL in the quarterfinal. They won 2-1 there. The semifinal, they were on the road at Atlanta Rovers. They won 2-1 there. Anthony Sumo has scored in each of those games. That's 7 goals for him across the campaign. Atlanta City, you mentioned it, 8 goals in 2 games. 4-2 over Atlanta United's Academy in the quarterfinal in extra time. 4-3 over Dalton United. Thierry Jules with 7 of those 8 goals in the postseason. We're going to step away for the national anthem. Welcome back to Snellville, KSA in the all-white, Atlanta City in the red tops, white shorts, and red socks. We'll get into a couple of the players that I think people who have watched this league, people who have watched soccer locally will know about. And we'll start with Atlanta City. Eli Bakota, a player from Clarkston High School. We've seen him with Appalachian FC in the NPSL, played at the University of Memphis. Bakota coming back into this team really sets the tone for them in the midfield.
Yeah, he's a guy that can play the ball really well. And if Atlanta City want to be successful tonight, they need to play through their number 10. They need to invite him to use that technical ability he has to progress the ball up the pitch.
for KSA, a player that you know very well. You called a lot of his games in college this past season. We've seen him with Georgia Storm. We've seen him at Life University. This year he was all-conference at Clayton State. Wilfred Camden.
He also got all-region nods recently this week. Wilfred Camden is an absolute explosive player, but he's more than just the pace that you see him transition up the pitch with. He's extremely technical, and he's got a rocket of the shot on him. He leads with experience. You mentioned his resume when it comes to all the levels that he has performed in across the state of Georgia.
A very experienced referee crew to go with the final tonight as well. Someone with quite a bit of professional experience with the whistle in the middle, Sergey Demyanchuk. He's assisted by Kevin Hewitt and Thomas Brigman, and the fourth is Ethan Bruns. Let's kick it for 45 minutes here in Snellville, the UPSL Georgia Premier Division Championship match. KSA kick off and keep a little bit of possession in their own half. Looking up the right side, that's not going to connect. Valverde will run it down and pass back to Shafi Manzi. Flicked back, Dampfa plays it forward. Sometimes in finals, Jess, we see teams show a little bit of nerves early on. You don't want to give the game away early and make that big mistake.
You see teams be tentative because they don't want to get caught off guard by gambling too much going forward. But you have to be brave at some point, particularly if you want to push and stretch. For me, KSA has to be that brave side. They have the experience. They have the understanding of being in a final.
Bakota squared that inside. I think for Atlanta City, you're going to want Ellie Bakota on the ball as much as possible. KSA with the throw up the line. Big flick from Tiente, but that's covered easily by Atlanta City. Shafi Manzi, who had some big saves against Dalton United last week, the young goalkeeper from Clarkston High School. Plays it long. Flowers tries to settle it in the middle. Thierry Jules with his first touch. The 6'8" forward up top. Play down the middle. Opportunity here for Camus Jaden. Flowers' shot takes a deflection. I think Playtez might have gotten a touch to that on the ground.
I think with Playtez, he got a little bit confused about where his area is. On this pitch, as a former goalkeeper, I'll tell you, not easy to distinguish the lines of his area.
Yeah, it's a very light gray line that is kind of hard to tell.
And I think you saw that in his movement. He stepped, he paused, and we're going to get another look at it on the replay here. It's a great through ball, dinked up, and you see him take that little stumble as he comes out the box. And he's actually quite fortunate that he doesn't make a save on that ball because he was outside the box on the rebound.
Valverde heads it forward for City. One back by Shamari Cover. Cover, the former Lithonia High School All-Stater. It's one back by KSA. Foul called. They'll get the free kick. Sergey Demyanchuk, a referee who has refereed games at USL Championship, USL League One, MLS Next Pro. He's going to ref this like a professional game, and both of these teams have a little bit of a reputation for talking to referees. That's not going to go very well for them tonight.
No, you need to set the tone early on, and I think that's why the referee calls that foul there. He's not going to allow any sort of niggly fouls where you're chipping at retaliation, and he's going to set the tone when it comes to dissent, which is rightly so.
Ball played long. Kamari Irving brings that down. Pavlovsky gets a touch for KSA. It's one back by City momentarily. Falls to Anthony Sumo. Sumo tries to hit a Conquo on the ball down the middle. City's seen that before. Camus Jaden leading the break. Ball's behind Flowers, but Jaden was grabbed by Sumo. Going to be a free kick here for Atlanta City.
And that's a great call by the referee because he was looking for the advantage, pulls it back, and City taking that quick.
Jaden squares it inside. Flowers first time. Goal, goal, goal. Atlanta City. Uworth Flowers from Camus Jaden, and the underdogs take the lead in the fourth minute.
And Flowers has a little boogie, and rightly so, as we get a glance. Quick initiative to take that free kick early. KSA caught with Flowers completely unmarked, and for him to lose his footing, to go down and still be able to slot it perfectly in that bottom corner. Brilliant finish and a dream start for Atlanta City.
Full credit to Flowers, because I think he knew that he didn't have time to settle that, and he just had to redirect it. Able to put that into the far side. Atlanta City with the early goal. And things might just kick up another notch or two here.
And we're just talking about the importance of a referee. And I'll say it again. He wanted to give the advantage, but he was willing to pull it back when Atlanta City didn't have an advantage in the play. And that's what advantage is about, allowing the team a true point of attack. And Atlanta City took advantage with the quick free kick.
Jaden able to dribble past Diaz. Can't dribble past the second option, but he can run it down on the far side. Ralda Gomez with the ball into the top of the 18. Irving goes up to win the header. And KSA will try to find some space on the left. Atlanta City swarming the ball. They force the turnover. Demyanchuk right there on top of it again. Wanted to see if the advantage materialized. It did not. So a free kick for City.
But we're also learning the point of a foul from the referee, and he's quite quick to blow. Both sides have to adjust to the level of physicality that the referee is allowing to set as a foul.
Shafi Manzi. Back to Jonathan Valverde. Up the left side, cover. Able to keep that in. Valverde. Headed straight back across. Unable to keep that one. Going to be a throw for KSA. Herrera will take it.
KSA will have hope, though. So early in the match to concede. It's disappointing to get off to a poor start. But if you flip that, you've also got a lot of ball game to get back into it. And it was interesting earlier when we saw the schedules and how they got here. Neither of these teams were shut out during the season. They scored in every single match of the regular season. So Atlanta City, with the 1-goal lead, would have to do something no other side in the Georgia UPSL was able to do this season, and that was to keep a clean sheet against KSA.
Patrick Okonkwo draws the foul here for KSA. Going back to Atlanta City and defensively, last week it was 2-1 going into stoppage time on the road at Dalton. Atlanta City was able to stretch that to 4-1, but then they conceded 2 and gave up a couple of opportunities late to Dalton United. This is a good team going forward, maybe a little shaky at times defensively. KSA can take advantage of that.
And that's definitely something you know as a player, right? If you've experienced yourself conceding goals late, it becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're always wondering, when is your back line going to be stretched, and are they going to be able to withstand the task?
Free kick earned on the far side by KSA. Kevin Diaz started that sequence. This is going to be just over 40 yards out. Having a 6'8" forward to help you defend set pieces comes in handy in situations like this for Atlanta City.
Pretty much an aerial mismatch back there with Atlanta City having the advantage.
He can't cover all of the options, though, and there's quite a few for KSA. Tiente delivers. Flicked on, flag is up. Take your pick on which one was offside.
Got to be a little bit more disciplined there, KSA's front line, to check both shoulders and hold their line. We get another look here, and they're standing in an offside position to begin with, and they don't check back quick enough to avoid the linesman on this near side raising his flag.
Atlanta City will have the throw in their own half. A lot of times we get ebbs and flows in games like this where you have that early goal that can shake things up. KSA really, that slips out of his hand. Opportunity here for Okonkwo. I guess that was a good throw. Not sure about that. Manzi wasn't quite ready, but he makes the save. Going to be a corner.
Jason, you don't like football cliches, but you got to play to the whistle, right? We get another look, and it slips out of his hands. Let's have a look at the technique here. And
I don't know if it qualifies as a throw.
No, I don't think it does.
It fell out of his hands
It
behind.
didn't release in front of his head.
Tiente across. Jules goes up on the ladder to win that. Tony Tiente brings it down. Pass blocked. Flowers can break. Slip through. Here comes Uworth Flowers. Rides off the challenge of Sumo, but overhits the pass. Sumo, that's a really good defensive play where he gets a body on him, doesn't commit the foul, but disrupts the break.
Just does enough to throw Flowers off of his stance, off of his mindset of releasing the ball, and that's what you need from Sumo in those areas, to have the pace in behind to recover, but also the discipline to not dive in and commit the foul, because we've already seen what Atlanta City can do in set-piece zones.
Playtez's pass comes up a little bit short. Opportunity for City, the cutback not on. That was well read by Diaz. Kamani Irving with the long clearance. City deal with it well. Brian Mejia. Brought down by Jaden. Can't control though. Herrera momentarily took it away. Bakota. Bakota can just hold the ball up so well. Jaden unable to do the same. Valverde. Cover. Pressure picking up from KSA. Valverde. Double team there. City able to get it away. Jaden with a nifty flick. Flowers inside to Bakota. Bakota draws the foul. Advantage played. Going to continue. Out to Jaden. Jaden wants to go to the end line. Cuts it back. Kamani Irving steps up in front. Flowers almost won it back. Mejia. Flicked out wide to the right. Bakota able to get past Sumo. Pass takes a deflection, falls to Jaden.
Every second ball right now is being recovered by Atlanta City, but this time KSA with an opportunity to spring.
Diaz comes away with it. Tiente lays it off to Pavlovsky. Pavlovsky with a through ball attempt. Good look from Pavlovsky. Urasubiza able to clear for Atlanta City.
Really like that look from Pavlovsky, though. Broke through 3 lines. 4 players were left rooted in defensive positions, unable to attack, but it's a good last-ditch recovery by Atlanta City.
Pavlovsky, the former Grizzly from Georgia Gwinnett, very classy on the ball. City forced the turnover. Eli Bakota. Caught from behind, no foul. Bakota, though, wins it back off of Tony Tiente. Bakota not on the same page with the attackers.
But you're seeing the body language, sorry Jason, but you're seeing the body language of KSA right now. You saw it with Tiente when he lost the ball. Frustrated, heads dropped. You're 12 minutes into the final. You've got to have a little bit more oomph about you and belief that you can get back into it. And KSA needs to have that positive mindset if they're going to be able to do that.
Foul from Dampha. Jaden goes up to win the header. Body-to-body collision. Nothing malicious there.
It's just physicality. You see Jaden, and we'll get another look of that challenge that's left to the free kick. Was popped up into the air. Eyes on the ball all the time, but Jaden just caught late.
Yeah, I think Dampha's eyes were on Jaden. Jaden's eyes were on the ball. Didn't know he was about to get train wrecked.
Didn't have time to brace, which probably makes that one that much more uncomfortable.
Eli Bakota came as Jaden standing over it. Bakota down the left. Flowers had cut inside, though.
Rare misplay. You've seen a lot of good chemistry between Bakota and Flowers, but on that one, not on the same page. You see what Bakota's trying to do to dink it over into that space and allow Flowers a run and cut back into an attacking area, but just not quite the execution or timing together.
KSA over the top, looking for Okonkwo. Valverde trying to hold him off. Okonkwo with the stiff arm. Valverde, though, finds the handle. I think Okonkwo tripped over the ball that time. Bakota. Bakota gets away from Diaz somehow. No foul either way there. Let's see how Demyanchuk's going to call this. I think he's giving the he's giving the throw. That's what I thought, because he stood over. He was pointing one direction. I was just making sure that he wasn't going to call a foul.
Did you see him have a couple of kick-ups as well?
Yeah, showing his skills. Jameis Jaden unable to keep that. Herrera, the former Atlanta United Academy player, throws it in up the line. Sumo turning inside. Sumo with the left foot, blocked. Mejia got the block. I think he paid the price. Out wide to Herrera. Low cross in, shot saved by Manzi. Great footwork by the young goalkeeper.
Really good by Manzi as he scatters across down to his right and finds himself in the perfect position to make the save. We'll have another look here at that phaser play. You saw the painful block. Mejia stayed down. KSA well within their right to continue the play. A dangerous ball. And I think the forward for KSA would have liked to have made a cleaner connection, but it skips up and catches him off guard.
Okonkwo wasn't able to get any power behind it, just with the redirection right at Manzi. Still a difficult one, though, because he's got to slide across. Diaz comes away with it. Down the line, Sumo chasing, gets around Shamari cover, but he's trapped in the corner. Sumo, double teamed, goes down, no foul. Pops back up, trying to turn. Back to Pavlovsky. Through to Diaz. Flowers got a touch. Tackled away. Foul called. And that's a penalty for KSA. Just inside the 18-yard box. And it's Diaz who draws the penalty for KSA.
We'll get another look. You see, Tiente's caught late. Referee signals a great advantage. There's 3 bites from Atlanta City, and eventually the last challenge is a Stonewall pen. 12 yards out, KSA with a golden opportunity to equalize just over a quarter of an hour into this final.
17th minute, Patrick Okonkwo 1v1 with Shafi Manzi. Okonkwo's led KSA in scoring this year. Long run up here for Okonkwo. Shifts to the left and puts it into the back of the net with authority. Goal, 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 KSA, Patrick Okonkwo.
You don't save penalties like that. It's a vicious effort. We'll get another look at the pen here. Okonkwo takes that long run up. It has you a bit nervous that maybe he's leaning back, but gets the right height on it to make it unsavable for the goalkeeper, and KSA tie things up.
9 goals in the regular season. Okonkwo with his first in the postseason. And it's 1-1 in the 18th minute.
And this is where Atlanta City now has to get that mindset, that maturity. And I get it, they're new to playing in this final scenario, but they have to dig deep here to be able to respond. You've played well. I think Atlanta City's had the lion's share of possession, and they've done very well moving the ball. Now they have to recover to that adversity of conceding a goal, arguably against the run of play, based on the performance in that first quarter of an hour.
Junior Abnett fouled from behind. City with the free kick. Herrera wins the header. Flowers chasing, but can't get that away from Sumo. Pass intercepted. Mejia. Mejia wants to spin, does spin, gets the do-si-do and the foul.
Really love that footwork by Mejia there. A 360 spin and then draws the foul. It's a blatant tug on the arm of Mejia. And this will set up a decent range of a set piece for Atlanta City. We'll get another look here. Mejia steps nicely to recover the ball. And then at the second chance of a 360 spin is pulled back. Great call from the referee.
Tony Tiente did not want to get put in that spin cycle again. Does have to concede the free kick. just inside of 35 yards. Bakota into the wall, back to Bakota. Chips in, Jules. Tried to chest that down. Flowers almost got a touch. Mejia finds it. Brian Mejia. Reset back to cover. Over to the right side. Ralda passes forward, but it's intercepted by Herrera. Mejia wins the tackle, wins the ball. Physical tackle there from Mejia.
Mejia's been brilliant, though. Really good ball control, reading of the game, and patience to recycle when need be.
Okonkwo drops it off for Tiente. Big tackle from Valverde, perfectly timed. Here comes City down the left. Flowers used to run in midfields in the Sun Belt with Georgia Southern. It's been very good here. Got the opening goal for Atlanta City. Looking for that one, but Ebrima Damfa got to it first. Jules unable to win it back. Tony Tiente. Sumo. Hits the big switch, but not enough real estate on that far side.
Wilfred Camden was the target there, and that's a player we talked about in the pregame that hasn't seen enough touches on the ball. KSA has been mainly down their right-hand side with Sumo. They need to try and switch the point of attack and test down that left-hand flank as well.
Thrown into Mejia. Turns it back. Bombed over the top. Jules was going to give chase. Herrera, good use of the body. But Jaden blocks that. Damfa finds it. The classy center back, Ebrima Damfa, gets through to, dragged down by Jaden. See if that gets a card. Ebrima Damfa wanted it. Jaden going to get the warning, not the yellow.
Lenient is the word I would use there. We'll have a peek and see. It's great effort from the CB to head forward. For me, a yellow card just based on how quickly he's advancing up the pitch and how it's stopping a promising attack. But for Jaden, if you can get away with it without a caution, get away with it. It's a smart professional foul.
You take that if you can get it, and KSA will put that in their back pocket and say, okay, well, we've got one of those coming our way too if we've got to commit that foul. As long as it's consistent, I have no problem with it.
We'll see what they can do from this set piece. Everybody lined up on the edge of the 18.
Tiente, good ball in. Manzi gets a hand to it, and it's cleared.
It's a great ball into that alley of uncertainty. Goalkeeper, defense weren't quite sure, but good work from the young goalkeeper in Manzi to come with two hands and get a semi-convincing touch on it to deflect it away from any KSA attackers.
Irving clears it again. Okonkwo using his body well to shield off Irasubiza. Down the left side, here comes KSA, but that's handled well by City. Irasubiza draws the foul. Valverde. Midway through the first half, 1-1. KSA leveled it from the spot with Okonkwo. Flowers opened the scoring for City. Jules unable to turn. City really hasn't been able to get him going tonight. Couple of contacts there. Fouls eventually called on Ralda Gomez.
Getting chippy now. The fouls are starting to tally up. You're seeing a little bit of frustration, but I don't think you mind it if you're Atlanta City, just trying to chop down any flow that KSA is able to build up in the attacking third and try and frustrate them as well. So far it's working. KSA looking frustrated with how they're being handled and the physicality they're being given from this Atlanta City side.
City not backing down at all. This is the younger team out of the two, Atlanta City. They do have some veterans at this level, though. Camus Jaden is one who has been very good at this level. Comes up a little short. Irving and Pleites, neither one really wanted to call that. It's going to be an Atlanta City throw 30 yards from goal.
Looked like Irvin was telling Pleites, back off, back off, back off. But if I'm Pleites, I'm saying, I'm the keeper. I'm going to make the call. You listen to me. And when Pleites said, I'm coming, The goalkeeper should have the right of way in those moments. He had a better angle to clear that one up the pitch instead of deflecting it off here for a throw-in.
And it's going to be a long throw from Eli Bakota. I think he's 8 lanes back on the track. He's going to get this one into the middle of the 18. Watch for Jules. Flicked on. Playtez will handle it. Such a weapon when you have that long throw from Eli Bakota.
Well, these days it feels like every team has someone with a quote-unquote long throw. So I was a little tentative when I saw Bakota backing up there. But truly, that is a long throw, and it's one of those that's flat enough that goalkeepers hate because it makes you ask questions of yourself. Am I going to come? Because it's fizzing in towards me.
Bakota earns another throw. This one's a little bit further back near midfield. Can still launch it down the line, though. Jules. Herrera takes it away from him. Damfa clears. One by Mejia. Mejia pulled the seal trick in the middle of the field accidentally. Sumo comes away with it. Out wide to the left. Foul called. Free kick. 45 yards from goal for KSA.
We saw the last free kick, a glorious ball from Tiente into that 6-yard, 18-yard range. We'll see what he does here with the free kick as we're watching KSA send some bodies forward from their back line.
Tiente will take this 40 yards from goal, able to find a couple of extra yards. Tony Tiente to the top of the 6. Header is wide, but the flag was up. It's Lamech Phillips who is into the lineup. We were not told that he would be starting. We thought it'd be Wilfred Camden, but it's Phillips, the number 30 on that opposite side, started his run a little too early.
But that's the second time from a dead ball that KSA has been caught offside. That'll be an area they want to work on. You can't afford from dead balls to get caught slacking in an offside position. You've got to check both shoulders and make sure you're dropping and holding your run appropriately.
Long ball for City. Abnett can't bring it down. Junior Abnett had a couple of goals this season. One of the former KSA players now with Atlanta City. Also one of the quite a few former Clarkston Angoras. Strong high school program at Clarkston High. Quite a few members, current and former, in this Atlanta City lineup today.
And it's good when you've got that chemistry or understanding of players. When you've grown up together or you've had experience on the pitch sharing it, no matter the level, it helps you understand the runs your teammates are going to make, the different tendencies they have as a player. Building chemistry is so important, and it helps when you've got that cheat code from growing up playing together.
Joel Johanning, former Atlanta Silverbacks player that came through the Atlanta Silverbacks reserves when I was working with the reserves, has turned into one of the better young coaches around the city. He's worked with Atlanta United's academy before. He's really building a nice program with Atlanta City, and here they come, Bakota. Bakota spins back inside. Sumo chasing shadows. Back to Irasubiza, down the line. Flowers able to turn, puts in the cross. Good work from Playtez to step in front of Jules.
Important by Playtez, and he bowls the ball out quickly to try and get a counterattack sorted.
Tiente with a great flick to Phillips. Phillips upended. The warning coming, no card, but the warning to Uralda Gomez.
Very vocal warning from the referee. Saw him counting the fouls there as we get a look at where this play starts from. This is a peek at the last attack where we saw some great goalkeeping from Playtez. It's a good catch, but this is what's better. Bowling it out, that awareness immediately, and KSA can really attack City if they move the ball quickly, because Atlanta City are gambling, sending lots of bodies forwards.
Floated in, looking for a Okonkwo. Flicks it on to Sumo. Edge of the 18. Sumo wants to get back on that left foot. Diaz. Sumo. Sumo with the curler high and wide.
Wrong decision. And you recognize it from Sumo there. Puts the hands on his heads, the apologetic hand up to his teammates as well. One of those moments where as an individual player, You're looking for glory. You're looking for that top bins effort. That wasn't the moment to do it. As we get a look here, 3 of your teammates in great positions with only 1 defender surrounding you. You got to swing it into an area and try and get one of your teammates a better chance on frame.
Shamari Cover will come back and take this goal kick. Over the head of Phillips. City come away with it eventually. Pass comes up short of Bakota, though. Okonkwo was coming back from an offside position. Flag goes up.
It's another one of those offside calls, though. KSA tottering up now. That's 3 in the match for KSA, and they're 3 preventable ones. There's one thing if it's a poor timing from a really narrow run, but I don't want to use the word lazy negatively, but it is a little lazy of these players, particularly when you're only in the 30th minute of the match.
Cover picks out Thierry Jules, unable to turn. Mejia rescues it. Flicks it back in the direction of Ralda Gomez, but it doesn't get to him. Tiente down the right side for Sumo. A little bit more than Tiente wanted there, and Sumo just can't keep it. But it's a throw for City right next to the corner flag. KSA can press.
Great opportunity for KSA to pin Atlanta City back here from the throw. You saw Sumo again, maybe slick turf. We've seen a lot of rain in this area today. You saw Sumo take that heavy touch and knock it out. He is a little frustrated with himself in this moment. He's not showing the caliber that he has so far in this match.
Yeah, we've seen rain all day. Not really anything tonight. We thought there might be more. Not getting it as of yet. Temperatures have dropped here in Snellville.
But great conditions for a game based on the radar that we saw yesterday. I think the players will be very happy with the conditions they have for this final.
Another free kick for Atlanta City. Bakota into the middle. Irasubiza. Ralda Gomez cuts inside. Overhit pass out for the goal kick.
And that's just fed into both these teams on recent plays. We're seeing decent ideas. The execution just isn't quite there. With 31 minutes played, you're expecting that cohesiveness to have clicked by now. We'll get another look. It's a good idea. Atlanta City looking to try and play this through ball, but it's overhit and not easy to control. It's got to be a little bit crisper if you're going to create opportunities.
I wonder if the early goals both ways kind of shook everything up and neither team's really gotten settled yet.
It's one of those where you don't like to say there's a bad time to score because it's always good to get a goal, but it's almost like the goals broke the momentum of the match. It slowed it down. They got the nerves out, but now there's not that same urge. And I want to see a little bit more urge from both these sides. It's a final. Your quality sides, you're both very attacking sides when you look at your records and the goals scored. I want to see a little bit more of a gamble in that attacking third and willingness to try and grab the leading goal.
Camus Jaden almost forces the turnover. He's moved over to the right side. Abnett's on the left. Flowers does intercept. Mejia just couldn't get the pass away under pressure from Pavlovsky. Dampfa through the middle. Tiente spins it over to the left to Phillips. Long run from Tiente to open up space. Phillips cuts inside to take it. Okonkwo unable to spin and pick out the pass. Mejia tries to hit the home run ball. Maybe had a little more time there. Back to Pleites. Both teams seem rattled in different ways. With Atlanta City, it feels like they're rushing things at times, not showing the patience that they need. KSA maybe a little too patient at times. Back to City. They're in the attacking half. They're in the attacking third. Jaden inside to Jules. Jules wants to turn. He's tripped up. That's right on the line. It's going to be a free kick outside.
As we get the zoomed in, we can see now the faint gray lines that shows you it's in the semicircle outside of the box. Let's take a look at just how close it is here. It's a great ball in, he spins, and it's about as close as it gets. Referee Johnny on the spot to be able to demonstrate that it is a free kick. But this is goal-scoring territory without a doubt for Atlanta City. Now they've just got to check their player that's been clipped is okay.
Yeah, it's Thierry Jules who is down. Sergei Demyanchuk, our referee, had that marked the whole way. No hesitation to call for the free kick on the outside. Believe it was Pavlovsky who committed the foul, and he got a yellow. We're seeing the paperwork being completed by Demyanchuk. Jules is back up on his feet.
And that's the first yellow of the game, and there's no denying from that distance that it's always going to be the first caution to open this match. We're seeing the wall being set up here. Expect 4 or 5 players to be built into this wall, perhaps even more. Goalkeeper trying to organize now. It's interesting to see as well they're dropping a player back on to the post here. So remember, with rebounds, everything's game.
We'll see if City takes advantage of it. They are going to. I wonder if Phillips might jump out. Or sorry, I believe that's Irving. He might jump out at the last minute and catch somebody offside. So these are tricky because it's 19 yards out. These are situations where the football lines really help us. You don't have a lot of room. The wall is actually shorter than it should be by a yard.
And now they've gone ahead and placed the player laying on the ground, so they've cut off that option to drill it low as well.
Camus Jaden will take it. Around the wall, what a save by Playtez. Corner City.
Brilliant save by Playtez. It's a great strike by the Atlanta City player there as we get another look to be able to find that gap that's been left in the wall. You see it here, brilliant strike, even better save, agile to get down with the big parry.
Outswinging corner from Bakota, low, driven to the top of the 18, was looking for Abnet. I think KSA had that one read the whole way. Irasubiza. Back to the top of the 18, Jaden, Jules, can't turn.
What a touch by Jaden off of that long ball though.
Damfa clears. Cover up the line. Valverde, he's up into the attack. Sliding tackle from Herrera is a good one. Going to be a throw for City. Valverde will take it quickly. Headed away by Diaz. Valverde gets a touch. It's knocked away from Bakota by Tiente. Mejia chips it in for Thierry Jules with the header wide. That's the big target, man, that he's going to have shots that don't quite look normal because he's 6'8". An overhead flick almost beats Playtez.
This is incredible. It's a really good look by Mejia as we'll see them win back the ball here. Quick thinking, dinks it. And to be able to be on the back pedal here and still get the flick on, we saw the goalkeeper. I think Playtez, that ended up being closer than maybe he realized when he let that one go wide.
I think he's stranded. I think he has no chance to make that save because you see a normal player go up there, they can't put that on goal. Jules can do it without even jumping, just on a back pedal, just flicking his neck to put that nearly on frame.
It's the footwork that's so impressive for me, though, to have your back to goal, be backpedaling, and still be able to get the flick on.
Sumo rides off the challenge, puts the ball into the middle. The Rasubiza got there in front of Okonkwo. Mejia down the right side for Jules. 1v1 with Irving. Cuts it inside. Recovering run from Luke Savory, able to make the play there for KSA.
And I know we talk about Jules' height because you can't miss it. Let's be honest. He stands out. But I'm also so impressed with his reading of the game, his ability to drop back in like he did there to earn a throw for his side. He's not just that big target forward that's going to be good on set pieces. He's a smart soccer player as well.
Ralda Gomez overcooks that cross. Out for a goal kick. I gave you the Peter Crouch comparison for Thierry Jules. I don't think I was too far off in terms of playing style.
I'd like to see a Peter Crouch bicycle kick at some point. Wouldn't that be nice for tonight?
Hey, Crouch has got, or not Crouch, Jules has got 7 goals in the last 2 games. He hasn't had a bike that I know of. He's due for one.
We're adding it to the to-do list for Jules.
Damfa down the middle. Overhits that intended for Okonkwo. Mejia, Okonkwo, Sumo, all battling. Foul called as Mejia was kind of run over from behind by Sumo.
Just hasn't been Sumo's afternoon so far. You're seeing there, it's a good-looking run, but he catches Mejia. Mejia with the smart drawing of the foul. And I think you're seeing, again, the body language of Sumo here, feeling frustrated. Halftime will be good for KSA to be able to regroup, to be able to resettle, and try and refresh their mindset as well.
Jules onside. Brings it back. Jaden down the right. Low cross, canceled out by Irving. Cleared as far as Ralda Gomez, but Okonkwo able to disrupt it at least. Falls to Bakota. Collision, advantage played, crossed in, over the head of Flowers. Going to be run down by Abnett. Abnett. Back to cover. Jules tries to turn. Kamani Irving stands him up. Tiente with a good ball forward to Sumo. Sumo 1v4, waiting on the cavalry. Takes a deflection, going to go back to Shafi Manzi.
And you can't help but think Atlanta City need to take advantage of this momentum they have, of this extended pressure, chances created. They haven't been able to get that go-ahead goal. And if KSA is able to get into the break like we talked about and regroup, they're going to come out a different animal in the second half. Atlanta City needs to capitalize on their playing of the ball in these areas.
Abnett wasn't able to save that one up against the touchline. Saw Ellie Bakota shifting through the gears there on the dribble. Something I think we'll see more and more as the night goes on. Herrera. Inside to Diaz. One more time to Irving. All the way over to Savory. Pressure from Atlanta City. Good organized pressure too. But KSA finds the free man in Herrera. Can he turn and keep it? Yes. Herrera cutting inside. Herrera slips it through, but Tiente was offside again for KSA.
It's just the same story for KSA right now. Individual brilliance from Herrera. Fantastic solo run winding through Atlanta City defenders. We'll get another glance at that run. Picks up the ball in his own half. Puts it head down. One defender, two defenders. It's a great looking ball. But again, you've just got to time your run.
City play long. Jules flicks it out wide, looking for Abnett. Herrera clears. Brought down by Sumo. Sumo, big step over, cuts inside a cover. Tiente all the way over to Phillips on the left. Phillips gets past Ralda Gomez, cuts it back to Sumo. Sumo pulls it back, shoots over the bar. Got the power behind it, Sumo, but just over the crossbar.
Rattles into that American football goal behind the net. It's not too far off the mark by Sumo. A good attacking phase of play by KSA, skipping through a challenge. Sumo's only got eyes for the prize here. Beautiful, intricate footwork to pull it back onto that left. It's a vicious strike, you said, had the power, just needed a foot or so lower to find the back of the net.
I believe it's Ralda Gomez who is down for Atlanta City. 43rd minute. Thanks for joining us on the Atlantic Soccer Media Group and UPSL YouTube channels. I'm Jason Longshore, joined by Jessica Charman. Early goal from Uworth Flowers. Patrick Okonkwo from the spot to level it. And it's been very even since we got to 1-1. Felt like City maybe had the better of the early going, but since it got to 1-1, Jess, it's been even.
KSA have grinded and grinded to try and create attacking opportunities. Sumo has been the main point of attack, creating opportunities so far. For me, I think Atlanta City have had a little bit more of the ball in the dangerous areas, but they haven't been able to utilize that possession to create as many quality opportunities as they would like with their possession.
Damfa steps up to win the goal kick. Flowers cuts it back, blocked by Tiente. Dampa down the left to Phillips. Opportunity here for KSA. Phillips wants to go around the outside. Save from Manzi. Well out of his goal mouth. It's back to Tiente. Tiente's pass picked off by Bakota. Tiente tried to draw the foul, didn't get it. Sumo commits the foul coming back, disagrees, and that's not going to go well for him in the long run with a referee with the experience of Sergei Demyanchuk.
And again, it's the frustration of Sumo. We'll get another look at the attack here for KSA, picking up on the loose ball and immediately looking to attack. We're going to get a look at this really good save from the goalkeeper, Manzi, coming off his line, closing the angle, being patient, and just letting the ball strike him. I think we go back to Sumo, though. He has got to change the mindset here. We talked a lot about his frustration, and right now that frustration isn't turning into product like you see with some players. It's turning into a distraction into his ability.
Yeah, it's becoming an issue. We'll see if he can get that in check with the halftime break. Headed back across from Jules. Wasn't able to redirect that one. That's going to be a goal kick as we get close to stoppage time. Should be a little bit of that as well. I don't know if we're going to be able to tell from our fourth official. Trying to get eyes on it now. Looks like 1 minute. I believe 1 minute of stoppage time. Binoculars come in handy on a night like this. Play down the middle. Valverde goes up to win it. Bakota skips past Diaz. Bakota down the left, trying to find space, cuts it inside, gets all the way through, back heel, Jules over the top.
What a brilliant connective play by Atlanta City, though. Everything but the finish by Jules. We're going to see it again here in the replay. The movement of the pass and go, the back flick, and then just leaning back. Just doesn't get his body shape right there from distance. Needs to get his head over the ball and drive it home.
The flick from Jaden almost worked out as he came all the way across. Bakota dribbled down the line, kind of dribbled into trouble, just put it into the middle, hoping for somebody to find it. And Camus Jaden came all the way across and did.
And that's what you need, movement in your attacking third and a willingness.
And that'll do it for the first half. Uworth Flowers opened the scoring for City. Patrick Okonkwo tied it up from the spot, and we are 1-1 at the break. We're going to take a quick break. Chance for you to grab your refreshments and anything you'd like for the second half. We'll take a look at halftime highlights, and we'll hear a little bit about the season's award winners in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division. 1-1 at the break between KSA and Atlanta City. Back by Shamari Cover. Cover, the former Lithonia High School All-Stater. It's one back by KSA. kick here for Atlanta City.
And that's a great call by the referee because he was looking for the advantage, pulls it back, and City taking that quick.
Jaden squares it inside. Flowers first time. Goal, goal. KSA will try to find some space on the left. Atlanta City swarming the ball. They force the turnover. Demyanchuk right.
1-goal lead, would have to do something no other side in the Georgia UPSL was able to do this season, and that was to keep a clean sheet against KSA.
Patrick Okonkwo draws the.
Having the advantage.
He can't cover all of the options though, and there's quite a few for KSA. Tiente delivers. Flicked on in games like this where you have that early goal that can shake things up. KSA really, oh, that slips out of his hand. Opportunity here for Okonkwo. I guess that was a good throw. Not
KSA with an opportunity to spring.
Diaz comes away with it. Tiente lays it off to Pavlovsky. Pavlovsky with a through ball attempt. Good look from Pavlovsky.
It's dropped. You're 12 minutes into the final. You've got to have a little bit more oomph about you and belief that you can get back into it. And KSA needs to have that positive mindset if they're going to be able to do that.
Foul from Damford. Over the top, looking for Okonkwo. Valverde trying to hold him off. Okonkwo with the stiff arm. Valverde, though, finds the handle. I think Okonkwo pulls it in up the line. Sumo turning inside. Sumo with the left foot, blocked. Mejia got the block. I think he paid the price. Out wide to Herrera. Low cross in, shot saved by Mejia. Pops back up, trying to turn. Back to Pavlovsky. Through to Diaz. Flowers got a touch. Tackled away. Long run up here for Okonkwo. Shifts to the left and puts it into the back of the net. Flowers chasing but can't get that away from Sumo. Pass intercepted. Mejia. Mejia wants to spin, does spin, gets the do-si-do and the foul.
Really
The classy center back, Ibrahima Damfa, gets through to. No problem with it.
We'll see what they can do from this set piece. Everybody lined up on the edge of the 18.
Tiente, good ball in. Manzi gets it. Tiente will take this 40 yards from goal, able to find a couple of extra yards. Tony Tiente to the top of the 6. Header is wide, but the Dakota spins back inside. Sumo chasing shadows. Back to Irasubiza, down the line. Flowers able to turn, puts in the cross. Good work from Playtez. And looking for Okonkwo, flicks it on to Sumo. Edge of the 18, Sumo wants to get back on that left foot. Diaz, Sumo. Sumo with the curler high. Sumo. A little bit more than Tiente wanted there, and Sumo just can't keep it. But it's a throw for City right next to the corner flag. Bakota into the middle. Irasubiza. Ralda Gomez cuts inside. Overhit pass, out for the goal kick.
And that's just
at times. Back to City. They're in the attacking half. They're in the attacking third. Jaden inside to Jules. Jules wants to turn.
place the player laying on the ground, so they've cut off that option to drill it low as well.
Camus Jaden will take it. Around the wall, what a quickly. Headed away by Diaz. Valverde gets a touch. It's knocked away from Bakota by Tiente. Mejia chips it in for Thierry Jules with the header wide. Okonkwo able to disrupt it at least. Falls to Bakota. Collision, advantage played, crossed in over the head of Flowers. KSA finds the free man in Herrera. Can he turn and keep it yet?
welcome back in to Snellville, Georgia. Jessica Charman alongside Jason Longshore. UPSL Georgia Premier Division Conference Final here in Snellville. It's time to talk about some really important awards, Jason, as we get into that part of the season when the silverware, and when we talk about silverware, look at this one. Someone's going to be coming home with this one by the end of the night. Let's talk first about the top club manager, Christopher Uranga from Potros FC. What did he do specially to get this award?
One of the most well-run clubs in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division, and a lot of that's down to Christopher's work. He's one of those managers around the league that everybody will go to for advice, how to make their club better, and he's always willing to put in that extra work to help everybody across the UPSL Georgia First and Second Division.
Unsung heroes oftentimes are the managers. Let's go in to the top coach for the full season, Andrew Joe Haroon with UMA FC.
UMA had a lot of players turn over this year, a lot of players that were in high school before, went on to college. Maybe a little bit of a slow start for them, but the fact that they became so competitive against the top teams as the year went on is a credit to Andrew's work.
Now let's talk about my favorite award, because we love to talk about goals when we're commentators,
We don't
Jason.
have a Golden Glove award here. That would be your favorite award. Come on.
UPSL needs to add that one, by the way. Goalkeeper Appreciation Club, always. But let's talk about the Golden Boot winner, Jason, an Atlanta United Academy superstar.
Matthew DeJaney had an amazing year for Atlanta United's Academy, and this is across all levels, and it shows you why you have teams like Atlanta United, like Charlotte FC, with teams in the UPSL. DeJaney had 3 games in MLS Next Pro. He also led the UPSL Georgia Premier Division with 14 goals in 13 games. He would have been here tonight, but he's away with Atlanta United's U17s at the MLS Next Fest event out in Phoenix, Arizona. This is why you have leagues like this, for a player like DeJaney to get experience against players his own age during the year, and then sometimes against full professionals in MLS Next Pro. But this is the in-between for so many guys to grow in confidence. And seeing DeJaney in Next Pro, he got that confidence to make those appearances by playing here and winning the Golden Boot.
Feels like Matthew DeJaney is a name to remember for the future, Jason. Let's come back to Snellville, though, and talk just for a moment about what we've seen in that first 45 minutes of action. What stood out for you so far in this final?
I think with Atlanta City just showing that they belong. And we kind of thought that coming in after you beat the top 2 seeds in the division, but you never know how long that kind of luck holds out. It's not luck. They're really looking like a team that belongs in the upper level here in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division. KSA, we know the pedigree. We know how good they are. They haven't gotten going yet, and you have to give Atlanta City a lot of credit for that.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, but you are a soccer genius, so I'm not worried about it. Give me a key for each of these teams in order to lift the trophy in 45 minutes time.
I think for Atlanta City, you've got to get Ellie Bakota on the ball more in the attacking third. We're seeing it a lot in the middle third, not enough in the attacking third. And for KSA, look, we don't know everybody that they have available off the bench. They're going to have firepower. But I'll go back to something you talked about a lot, Anthony Sumo. You know he's got the ability. He's won the Golden Boot in this league before. He feels a little flustered. You've got to get him going in the second half if you're KSA.
45 minutes remaining here in the UPSL Premier Division Georgia final. Jessica Charman, Jason Longshore will be back with the second half soon. Stick and stay on YouTube.
Back by Shamari Cover. Cover, the former Lithonia High School All-Stater. It's one back by KSA. kick here for Atlanta City.
And that's a great call by the referee because he was looking for the advantage, pulls it back, and City taking that quick.
Jaden squares it inside. Flowers first time. Goal, goal. KSA will try to find some space on the left. Atlanta City swarming the ball. They force the turnover. Demyanchuk right.
1-goal lead, would have to do something no other side in the Georgia UPSL was able to do this season, and that was to keep a clean sheet against KSA.
Patrick Okonkwo draws the.
Having the advantage.
He can't cover all of the options though, and there's quite a few for KSA. Tiente delivers. Flicked on. In games like this where you have that early goal that can shake things up. KSA really, oh, that slips out of his hand. Opportunity here for Okonkwo. I guess that was a good throw. Not
KSA with an opportunity to spring.
Diaz comes away with it. Tiente lays it off to Pavlovsky. Pavlovsky with a through ball attempt. Good look from Pavlovsky.
Dropped. You're 12 minutes into the final. You've got to have a little bit more oomph about you and belief that you can get back into it. And KSA needs to have that positive mindset if they're going to be able to do that.
Foul from Damford. Over the top, looking for Okonkwo. Valverde trying to hold him off. Okonkwo with the stiff arm. Valverde, though, finds the handle. I think Okonkwo pulls it in up the line. Sumo turning inside. Sumo with the left foot, blocked. Mejia got the block. I think he paid the price. Out wide to Herrera. Low cross in, shot saved by Mejia. Pops back up, trying to turn. Back to Pavlovsky. Through to Diaz. Flowers got a touch. Tackled away. Long run up here for Okonkwo. Shifts to the left and puts it into the back of the net. Flowers chasing but can't get that away from Sumo. Pass intercepted. Mejia. Mejia wants to spin, does spin, gets the do-si-do and the foul.
Really.
The classy center back, Ebrima Damfa, gets through to. No problem with it.
We'll see what they can do from this set piece. Everybody lined up on the edge of the 18.
Tiente, good ball in. Manzi gets. Tiente will take this 40 yards from goal, able to find a couple of extra yards. Tony Tiente to the top of the 6. Header is wide, but the Dakota spins back inside. Sumo chasing shadows. Back to Irasubiza, down the line. Flowers able to turn, puts in the cross. Good work from Playtest. And looking for a Okonkwo. Welcome back to Shiloh High School in Snellville, Georgia. 1-1 between KSA Pro Profile and Atlanta City in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division Final. Let's take a look at the first half stats. 4 shots for KSA, 2 for Atlanta City. Fouls 12-8. That's the one I want to start with here, Jess. 20 fouls in the first half. Could have been a lot more. I think it will be more in the second half.
Still a staggering number, quite frankly, for 45 minutes of football, but I think it's been really well refereed, and you have to give the center official the praise because both goals occurred after advantages. The penalty was given after an advantage was played, and the first goal was pulled back from an advantage to allow a quick free kick. So I think the referees handled it well, but like you said, if you were to foreshadow this match, I think it might get just a little bit chippier, and I might be understating a tad.
Yeah, let's kick it for 45 more minutes, maybe more. because we've got to have a winner tonight. Atlanta City in the red tops, red socks, white shorts, moving from left to right on your screens here in the second half. KSA in the all white. We'll see what changes teams have made at halftime as well. Probably a few. I think I see Lamine Cisse in for KSA, their number 32. Eli Bakota with the long throw. Launched into the 18. Brought down, back to Bakota. Pulled back, left-footed cross. Headed away by Cisse. Corner, City.
And City starting the way that they started the first half in this second, with energy, with dominance, not caring about an underdog tag or an inexperienced tag. You see it here, Bakote, great footwork and always looking to put the ball into a dangerous area. It's a good clearance by Cisse, his first touch in this match as he came on as a sub, and he has to head it out for a corner. Can City capitalize on set pieces? Haven't been able to do so far in the first half.
4, 5, and 3 in the regular season for Atlanta City. They've won both of their playoff games to get here, so 6, 5, and 3 overall. KSA 8, 3, and 3 overall. Bakota, back post, play test, swats it away.
Really good hand from the goalkeeper there, powerful, and manages to connect, but caught in possession quickly with KSA.
Bombed clears. Flowers tried to create something down the left. We had a little bit of a downpour, and when I say little bit, I think it was a lot of water in a short period of time, so the surface is going to be a little faster here to start the second half. So we get another look at Playtez with the Dikembe Mutombo swat to get that out of the 18.
And just expect the speed of the ball to be that much quicker. We made a couple of comments in the first half about how quickly the ball was running. Well, after a lot of rain in a short space of time, expect it to be even more slick.
Bakota takes it away from Okonkwo, makes the overlapping run down the right. Eli Bakota bounces off of Diaz, puts in a low cross. Flowers, first time wide.
Almost a repeat of that connectivity between Bakote and Flowers. It's a gorgeous driven ball by Bakote. He picks it up, 1-2 pass, immediately thinking about that overlap. But watch this for a cutback in a moment. It's absolutely brilliant. Driven, daisy cutter. Flowers just caught off guard perhaps by how quickly it skidded over to him. Couldn't sort his feet out to connect the ball on frame.
Tiente over to the right side to Damfa. Through the middle, picked off by Mejia. Down the left. Abnet taken away from him, and he commits the foul on the backwash on Sumo. Free kick for KSA early here in the second half. Thanks for hanging out with us on the ASMG and UPSL YouTube channels. Alongside Jessica Charman, I'm Jason Longshore. Make sure you are subscribed to both ASMG and UPSL on YouTube. Lots of big games coming up. This is the biggest in Georgia for the UPSL Premier Division. The winner will move on into the national tournament. KSA has been there before. Atlanta City trying to get there for the first time. Junior Sandoval into the game at halftime. Sandoval, the wily Honduran veteran, draws the foul. KSA takes it quickly. Skips away from Okonkwo. Fast surface, you can't take a look to see what's coming up around you. Ball will end up on top of you before you know it.
You saw Okonkwo just look around and wonder what happened. Took his eye for a moment as he went to settle it, and it skimmed underneath him. Have to clean things up. KSA wants to make sure they connect better in this second half than they did in the first.
Flowers looking for Jules. Brings it down. Jaden has Flowers. Good sliding tackle there from Kamani Irving.
Good timing by Irving. He's had a couple of those big challenges. He had a few in the first half in dangerous areas where he timed it really well. And again, I don't like to talk too much about the same thing, but with that wet turf, when you go to ground, you're taking a risk. You have to get it right, and Irving does exactly that.
It's going to play a factor. It is a big talking point here in the second half. Ralda Gomez drives one through, couple hops into Playtez.
Playtez has to get that one right, though, because Jules is bearing down, sniffing out any potential rebound. You saw Playtez put it into his stomach and comfortably catch.
On a wet field, those one-hoppers can be difficult. The second hop took the sting of that away. Junior Sandoval dispossessed. Mejia able to find the tricky dribbles to get around some traffic. Camus Jaden down the right. First time cross. Playtez gets there in front of Jules and then gets there as Flowers was looking to pounce. Playtez pops up trying to start something with Flowers, and I don't think there was anything to start.
As a goalkeeper, I'll tell you, I would be annoyed that he jumped in, but he's well within his rights when you take a neutral stance. It's a really good ball. Playtest gets caught a little bit underneath it, does exactly right, pouncing on it, but seeing it back, it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
He's pouncing on it. The forward has already gone to ground before he sees Playtez pounce, and referee just letting Playtez know, hey, we're not going to start any fights on this pitch.
Really good work there from Sergei Demyanchuk. Playtez, maybe a little bit of a reputation at times for getting into those situations, maybe manufacturing those situations. Demyanchuk just goes and says, hey, I got you. We're all good. Let's move on. Sumo hitting the back or the hip from Shamari Cover. Maybe a little bit of an accentuation there, but Sumo's back to his feet. We'll get the free kick taken again.
Remember when we talked about 20 fouls in the first half? Got a little feeling that number might quicken up in this second.
Oh, I'm definitely taking the over in the second half. No doubt about that. Junior Sandoval will line this one up just off center to the right, just inside of 35 yards.
KSA caught offside on a couple of set pieces in the first half. Hopefully they've adjusted their mindset.
Sandoval drives this one on goal. Manzi able to make the save and then get on the rebound. That's the one hopper that picks up speed when it hits the ground.
Took the words out of my mouth. That absolutely skipped in and caught the goalkeeper a little off position, but he's able to recover, get enough on the save, and then the quickness and sharpness to pounce on the leftovers. Does a decent job in difficult scenario.
Yeah, maybe not textbook, but it gets the job done from Shafi Manzi. That one is out over the end line, and it's going to be a corner for KSA as we go back to that free kick from Junior Sandoval.
Sandoval just knuckles it down the throat of the goalkeeper, comes up at him so fast off of the slick turf. But what I like from the goalkeeper, Manzi, is how quickly he's able to adjust and get onto the leftovers.
Didn't panic, was able to get back on top of it and cover it. Outswinging corner. Looking for Sumo, headed away by Flowers. Sandoval knocks it back out wide, but coming back from the offside position when that ball was played.
Just
That's
another
a little
frustration.
different. It's a little different, though.
Listen, he's playing the ball. It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
You don't think about it. But it's still frustrating for KSA because it's breaking up their rhythm and it's returning the ball back to Atlanta City.
Yeah, needless turnover, unforced turnover, maybe the best way to put it. Flicked on, knocked down by Herrera, intercepted by Bakota. Bakota just riding off challenges. Cleared. Some work to do here for Irasubiza. He's able to possibly draw the foul as Junior Sandoval went into him. Irasubiza got caught there. Demyanchuk making sure he gets everything under control. You're not going to have a situation that Sergei Demyanchuk has not dealt with. And that's game management. That's great refereeing from Sergei Demyanchuk. It's not in the textbook either, but it's the right way to diffuse the situation. Both players collided. They just came together. Irasubiza feels like Sandoval caught him with the back kick. Demyanchuk didn't call it and tries to calm everybody down.
Yeah, I like it. Calm from the referee. It can be easy in these situations to treat fire with fire and get caught up in your head. But as the referee, you need to be grounded. You need to be the rational thinker, even if the players aren't thinking rationally. And I think he's using every ounce of experience, like you mentioned, Jason, at the highest levels to be able to control these young players. And what I like about it as well is the communication. When I think back to my playing career, if a referee talked to me and explained the decision and just treated me like a human being on the pitch, I would treat him like a human being.
Free kick, second time played. Cisse gets his head to it. That's going to be an Atlanta City throw. And this is in Bakota's range to launch it into the 18.
We'll see if KSA is able to adjust to this long throw, because a couple of them, the defenders have looked a little immobile.
Played short. Ralda Gomez curls one in. Dampfa gets his head to it. Cover. Scuffed it. Mejia rescues it. Couple step overs from Brian Mejia. No foul called. Sumo comes away with it. Played forward to Pavlovsky. Moves it over to Cisse. Spins around some trouble. Back to Irving. Irving long down the middle. Valverde will get to it first, but Sandoval tries to take it away. Knocks it back off of Valverde. Gonna be a corner.
Seeing the frustration right now from Shafi Manzi in goal. He feels a little isolated. He thinks that his defense are being hung out to dry a tad bit by the midfield. We'll see it here. It's just a great work rate and soccer IQ on that right-hand side. That's where experience comes into play for Junior.
Driven in low to the near post. Flicked on by Sandoval. Blocked. Okonkwo took the shot. It will be another corner. The block from Brian Ralda Gomez denies Patrick Okonkwo a second goal.
Feels like KSA are banging on that door, though. I talked about it in the first half about how Atlanta City had more of the possession, created opportunities, hadn't been able to get the go-ahead goal, and that they would have to face an onslaught most likely from a KSA that's been adjusted at halftime. That's what's happening right now. They're being put on their heels defensively.
Tiente with another outswinger, this time floated to the backside. Jules wins the header. City can try to break. Pop forward. Bakota's not going to get there in front of Cisse. Goes out for the throw. Ultimately, Atlanta City deals with all of that very well.
They've done really well, particularly for a side that's conceded as often as they have. We talked earlier about defense not necessarily being their strong point.
Sandoval played in by Diaz. Flag is up on the far side. Junior Sandoval started the run too early.
We'll get a look soon at just how early he made that run here on the replay. How close was this call? He's trying to get back. We're seeing him on that edge of the screen, and just a little too early. Closest player was on that back post, but it wasn't too far off the mark.
Yeah, at least a yard off. Played through the middle. It's right behind Jaden. He's going to run onto it. Back heel from Jaden. Doesn't connect with Jimmy Noel, who's checked into the game for Atlanta City. Noel able to run it down, though. Noel was really good off the bench last week for Atlanta City. They keep it in the attacking half. Mejia.
Squad depth, so important in matches like these to be able to make the adjustments and bring on talented players that have a point to prove.
Pavlovsky put Herrera in a tight spot there. He has to concede the throw.
It'll be interesting to see how both these teams use their benches to bring momentum, to bring purpose. You've experienced both these teams a little more than me, Jason, and which one for you has the strongest bench to be able to utilize?
KSA has the most experience on the bench, but Atlanta City has firepower on the bench. Jimmy Noel is a really good player to have coming off the bench in the second half. Jaden headed away by Cisse. Shot on wide.
You saw KSA adjust defensively, making sure they closed any space to prevent a good look for Jaden on that volley area. That's something in the first half KSA didn't do. Just think back to the goal and how much space Flowers had ahead of him. Here, swarmed, 3 defenders stepping to the ball. That's a good halftime adjustment for KFC in the defensive third.
It's been interesting. Ewart Flowers might be the one that you don't think about with Camus Jaden, with Thierry Jules in this team, but it's been Flowers who has been the most dangerous player for Atlanta City. He had that shot wide.
And you just wonder if some of that is about the reputation. When you don't necessarily have that reputation, you might get overlooked by the back line versus other players on this Atlanta City side that you can't ignore.
Tiente opens it up wide to Herrera. Now Sumo. Valverde defending. Okonkwo. Out of the reach of Sandoval. Bakota. Up the right side to Camus Jaden. He's got a lot of room. Gets past one, but he's tripped up by Pavlovsky, who gets the yellow card. Free kick City.
Right call from the referee there. You saw he's trying to keep his feet, Jaden. That's why it almost looks like a dive, because he's stumbling, trying to play fair, trying to get onto the loose ball. We'll see it here. Takes that step, and eventually the momentum takes him over. It's a foul, and it's a yellow card.
Again, good refereeing in a situation. You want to see if he can keep his balance and keep going. He couldn't. Gets the foul. Bakota will take the free kick.
We'll see again. Can Atlanta City utilize these set pieces to put balls into dangerous areas? We've seen a little bit of shakiness from Pleitez in goal with a couple of comings for those aerial possessions. Can you make that goalkeeper think twice?
1-1, 62nd minute. Bakota, Raul Gomez standing over it. Jostling for position. Raul Gomez peels away. Bakota floats it up there, headed away. Brought down by Mejia. Right back to Eli Bakota. Bakota down the right side. Too much on that as Flowers had curled around to make the run.
You see what he's trying to do again. We've seen a couple of those deliveries where he's tried to chip it in to the 18-yard box for a runner, just overhits it.
Watch Flowers make the long curling run here, and Bakota spotted it. Good idea and great movement from Ewart Flowers. But the execution, not what it needed to be from Eli Bakota that time. Goal kick played to Herrera. Under pressure from Noel. Diaz and Bakota battling. It's off of Diaz, going to be a throw for City. Diaz running hot at this point. He was arguing with the referee on the last foul where Pavlovsky got a yellow. Didn't like that call, but you could see the last touch as Bakota knocked it off of him.
Again, it's about focusing on what you can control. As a player, you can't change the referee's decision. You can only control your first touch, your impact. And if you get too worked up in stuff you can't control, it's going to affect you negatively. And I think for KSA, that's been one of their weaknesses in this match, worrying too much about the referee's decisions or about a 50-50 ball, and they've taken their eyes off how they want to play.
Wilfred Camden checking into the game now for KSA. We'll see where he slots in. He's starting in a central position. We're used to seeing him on one of the flanks. Cisse will take the throw.
I have a feeling
was one who came out. Sorry, Jess.
No, you're fine. I have a feeling for Wilfred Camden that he has a point to prove, though. He's the sort of player that doesn't want to see himself on the bench, would come in off of Clayton State's Peach Belt Conference double in the regular season and the tournament, feeling like he's earned a spot. He's earned the right to start. That isn't the case today, so you've got a motivated player coming in off the bench.
Valverde skips past Sumo. Jonathan Valverde, another one maybe under the radar a bit. He's had a really good night. Noel into the middle for Bakota. Up the right side now for City. Top of the 18, canceled out by Herrera.
Good positioning by Herrera, and then again the distribution off of the block to start the counter.
Sumo able to run past Mejia. Mejia has to trip him up. That's going to be a yellow card. Free kick for KSA in the middle third.
And again, the yellow cards now coming out with more ease, as you expect in the second half, as your foul counts has tallied up. It's a good thinking turn by Sumo, and you know you've got to make a decision here. Mejia has to trip him down when he takes that heavy touch forward, because Sumo is running into your back line that's been left isolated again. Atlanta City is struggling in some of these moments with their back line. I feel like they're not getting their midfield back quick enough to offer that support defensively.
The 1v1s that KSA looks for, they're starting to win more of those duels. Tiente will take another free kick here for KSA.
And we've liked Tiente's service in that first half.
Lots of variety in his service. Let's see what Tiente dials up this time. Blocked. Commentators curse as Jimmy Noel blocks it.
Good positioning by Noel. Looked like he might be slightly too close based on those football field markings. But again, if you're not counted back, stand as close to the ball as you want.
Well, we saw the free kick that Jaden put on goal. The wall was 9 yards back. We could count it.
Yeah, you can't really get away with it, or you shouldn't be able to get away with it when you have field markings literally telling you what 10 yards is.
Herrera will take this throw in front of the Atlanta City bench. Drops it back to Irving. Over to Cisse. Diaz. Okonkwo. Couldn't get past Raldo Gomez cleanly. Diaz under pressure. Bakota knocks it away. Cisse finds the handle. Back to Damfa. Tiente. Herrera. Pass picked off. Shamari cover. Jaden. Mejia. Jules. Valverde. Eli Bakota popping up on the left this time. It's cross behind Jules. Tiente in traffic, so classy on the ball. Tony Tiente gets it back. Always an outlet for his back line. Damfa. Herrera. Down the right side. Camden. Tackled away by Valverde.
Important tackle by Valverde there. Camden was looking to spin and head down that line to get a good cut back into the box. Valverde goes to ground and dispossesses really well. But it starts with Tiente, who finds the possession as an outlet and then looks to distribute.
That's the game changer for KSA and the way that they play. When you can rely on Tony Tiente with his experience, 27 games in MLS Next Pro this past season, he's able to calm things down and speed things up when they need. Noel down the line. Thierry Jules. Irving knocks that out for a throw.
Really opening up now, though, end-to-end match with both teams enjoying a little bit more clean possession. I've liked the way that both teams have adjusted to move the ball through their lines a little better.
Bakota. Overhit down the right side. Going to be a throw here for KSA. Lamine Cisse will take it. Experience from Graceland University and the St. Louis Lions in USL Division II. Okonkwo fouled.
I believe we also saw Cisse with Apotheos in the most recent season as well.
Lots of KSA players formerly with Apotheos. Made a run to the national championship in the NPSL last summer. Cisse intercepts. Taken away by Camus Jaden. Jaden trying to flip the field. Cisse tries to grab him. Jaden says, I'm going to keep going. Advantage had been played possibly, and then he didn't do anything with it, so it's brought back.
That's where honesty can sometimes kick you in the behind there, though. If Jaden goes down after he dispossesses Cisse, that's not only a foul, but probably a yellow card for Cisse for breaking the counter.
Tiente at midfield. Herrera. Sumo. Back to Tiente. Again, the metronome for KSA right now. Picks out Okonkwo into the 18. Okonkwo can't turn the corner. Raldo Gomez got a touch. Okonkwo, I don't think he's trying to draw a penalty there. I think he just lost his footing.
Just looked like he tripped because he doesn't turn and appeal immediately with the referee like you expect when someone's looking to earn a foul. We'll take a glance at the body language afterwards to see if we get a little bit more of an insight into Okonkwo. He skips through and he just trips over himself, it looks like. Maybe a quick glance at the referee to say maybe, but I think he knows that that's not going to be enough of any sort of contact to earn a penalty, particularly in a final.
I think the reaction from the Atlanta City players kind of goes back to the fact that these teams know each other really well. Diaz blasted forward, caught by Shafi Manzi. It's a very fluid front four for KSA with Junior Sandoval, with Wilfred Camden behind him in the middle, Sumo and Okonkwo out wide. Flowers is horse-collared by Tony Tiente. See if that gets a card. I thought it might because the grab looked a little more egregious than just a normal grab.
Take a look at the point of attack here as not so much for me. I thought there might be more trouble for the man that kicks it away afterwards as well, based on how far after the referee whistle it was. But again, using your mind here refereeing a game, is there a need to pull a yellow card in that moment?
Playtest punches that free kick away. Sumo, Sandoval, down the right side. Camden. Defended by Shamari Cover. Stood up by Cover at least the first time. Now draws Mejia. Last touch is off of Camden. Good defending from Atlanta City.
We're seeing Atlanta City defend in tandem, often sending multiple players to swarm KSA, and KSA aren't enjoying it. I don't know if they're used to having this aggressive defensive play that Atlanta City are really inflicting on them, and it's affecting KSA's ability to move the ball.
Tackled away from Jules by Irving. Sumo. Mejia takes it away from him. Mejia keeps it moving up the line. Noel, he's tripped up at midfield. Foul called, and another reason why I think the cards have been sparse from Sergei Demyanchuk is he wants this to finish 11v11, and it's a final, and that should be the desire. If you throw cards every time you could, we would not be 11-11 right now.
It's 8, right, to be able to play. We'd be getting quite close to that, quite frankly, with some of it. And I like that because you want this game, whoever lifts the trophy wants to feel like they've earned it and not played against a side that's maybe had a cheap red card.
Jaden. Great tackle from Tiente. Cisse able to clear it forward. Foul called. Some frustration, I think, from KSA, maybe with each other a little bit. That tackle from Tony Tiente was potentially preventing a chance from Camus Jaden.
I think what's frustrating for KSA is they're entering each other's lanes. They're kind of getting each other's way in moments. And if they could strip it back, spread out properly, and go back to basics, they've got individual talent, but they need to have the cohesiveness to play as a team.
Valverde and Sumo on the far side. Valverde goes down, nothing called. Good work by City once again to come away with it. Shamari Cover. Noel down the line for Bakota. A little too much on that one. Dampfa clears it into the next county over.
But back to that last phase of play for KSA, you saw Sumo and Camden oceans apart. And Sumo tries to backheel, but Camden's not even in the same region of the pitch. If you're going to play that tiki-taki soccer, you got to get closer together and be on the same page. It just feels like KSA isn't cohesive or understands the movements of each other in these moments.
The collective has been better from City. Maybe the individual talent is better on the KSA side. Driven down the middle, header won by Cisse. Okonkwo. Back to Cisse, flicked over to Diaz. Back to Irving, forward to Cisse. Nice to play out of some trouble there. Camden. Tackled away from him, stays in. Ralda Gomez.
We've just seen Camden float over to this left-hand side to try and get more time on the ball.
Diaz takes it away from Flowers. Okonkwo. Over to Herrera. That puts him in a tight spot again. He's unable to rescue that one. Throw, Atlanta City.
Just awkward the way that ball bounced up, though. Skipped off of the turf, took a higher bounce than maybe Herrera was expecting. But it felt like a needless switch. Keep the ball on the ground. It doesn't have to be an aerial, full-field switch every time you have possession, particularly when you've got a player like Tiente that's dropping in and checking.
Herrera fouls Noel. This is a dangerous free kick for Atlanta City. It is out wide near the touchline. But Eli Bakota from 25 yards out. And you have Thierry Jules. That's your target. Unable to turn that one on frame. Herrera clears it up into the sky. Mejia brings it down. Tiente once again just settling things down. Sandoval turns. Outside of the right foot flick down the line for Camden. Cover, good positioning, knocks it out.
That's when KSA looks the best, though, when they're able to turn the point of attack quickly and counter, particularly with Atlanta City, still being very brave in the attack. You saw in that set piece, sending all but 2 players forward. Then KSA has the speed, has the ability to counterattack. You see it here. How quickly can they push bodies forward? Camden almost creates an opportunity here. It's more good defending, though, by Atlanta City.
The little Trivella from Junior Sandoval with the outside of the foot, trying to send Camden in behind. Throw for KSA. Looking for the crossing angle, flicked in, cleared. Irasubiza sends that out for another KSA throw. 77th minute. Diaz stood up by Flowers.
You talk about teams that understand going to extra time, which is very much a possibility. Atlanta City had some success in extra time.
2-2 against Atlanta United's academy team in the quarterfinal, and they ended up winning that 4-2. Sumo's cross attempt is blocked by Shamari Cover. That's going to be a corner for KSA.
You'd have to think both these teams want to end it in regulation if possible, though. You don't want to throw that dice when it comes to going into extra time with fatigue, with energy, and then perhaps even going to a penalty shootout.
Corner here that Tony Tiente will take. Herrera showed the short option. Noel cut that off. Tiente puts it to the back post. Mejia with a perfect header. Back out for a throw on the opposite side.
What I liked about that is we heard Manzi. I heard a cry of out. The goalkeeper may be young, maybe still in high school at Clarkston, but has that authority that you need as a keeper to demand that your defense clears the ball.
Cisse throws it in. Ralda Gomez clears. Irving under pressure. Plays it long. Manzi's got to get there. Flag was up anyway.
But if I'm KSA and I see that moment, I'm now looking to catch Manzi on that awkward bounce. Got caught in a little bit of no man's land. You compare the two goalkeepers, and Manzi a little bit of a lower starting position, which means if he comes to claim that one, he's going to allow it to bounce. And when you allow something to bounce, you're throwing that dice of the risk of it catching you off guard.
Dakota. Down the right for Jaden. Jaden, low cross, play test, swings at it, doesn't get it. Goal, goal, goal. And it's that man Worth Flowers giving Atlanta City the lead once again, 2-1 to City.
Flowers with the brace as we see the attack here from Atlanta City. It's another delightful delivery into the box. Flowers throws absolutely everything at that ball to make sure it finds its way into the back of the net. Jaden and Flowers combining yet again to allow City the go-ahead goal.
Let's get another look at that goal, and there's two things that are really important in this. Watch Cisse get sucked inside, the left back Sucked in, Jaden has space. Jules makes the hard run to the near post. That draws everybody, and Flowers is able to tuck it on the back post.
We talked about it. How Jules is such a deterrent because of his size. All eyes go on to Jules. And Jules may not get the stats with that goal, but the run and luring everyone to the front post, forcing the goalkeeper to commit and be out of his net, invites Flowers the space to make the tap in. Sometimes it can be a benefit when you're not highlighted by the opponent because it allows you to sneak into areas unmarked.
Jaden down the right side. Last touch off of him. Good defending from Diaz. Going to be a goal kick. KSA will be launching everything forward for 10-plus minutes as they try to find an equalizer now.
City's going to have to get comfortable with suffering here defensively. And when you look at their defensive record, it hasn't been their strong point. But tonight is a night to make that change, to make the adjustment. So far, I've been very impressed with how they've defended KSA. They've been a nuisance. They've been disciplined. They've double-teamed. They've forced errors. But they have to do that for 10 minutes plus stoppage time here to make sure they get that berth to the national tournament.
Cover knocks that away from Herrera. Throw KSA, 82nd minute. Sumo shielding one off. Kicks through Bakota to commit the foul. I think we'll see Ellie Bakota drop deeper a lot more to try to give a little stability to his team.
They need some coverage here defensively. I talked about the issue being for City, the lack of cohesiveness between the defensive line and the midfield. They need players to sit in and offer that support, a true number 6 that's able to protect and shield this back line now that they have the lead.
We saw the Columbus Crew win MLS Cup earlier today, and they did it with a kind of untraditional backline setup, 1 center back and 2 converted fullbacks. I feel like City really has 3 fullbacks playing on that back line. Not the most size, but they can cover a lot of ground if they can stay organized.
And against a team like KSA that has so much pace in the attack, sometimes that's a really good adjustment to make because you have players that are comfortable making those recovery runs and have the engine to keep up with KSA's dynamic forward 4.
Okonkwo flicks it back. Mejia there once again in the right spot to intercept. Diaz. Good ball back to Irving. Now Cisse forward. That's going to get cleared. Jules will run it down. Irving heads it up into the sky and has to concede the throw.
And that's good pressure by Jules, though. Jules lurking on the shoulder of that defender, forcing him to head it into long throw territory and also allow you to run the clock here. Here's where soccer IQ comes into play. Game management, a little bit of the dark arts if you want to call it that, but it's all part of the game in a tournament game where you need to run that clock down to your advantage.
Dakota throws it in quick. Ralda Gomez to the back post. Pleites gets to it, able to punch it clear. Irving bombs it down the middle. Sandoval collides with Valverde. No foul. Mejia comes away with it. Mejia thought he was going to get clipped by Sandoval. Ended up losing his footing and committing the foul himself. Taken quickly. Sandoval down the right side, but Valverde read that one the whole way. His clearing ball is blocked. Played inside to Bakota. Volleys it forward. No nonsense from Eli Bakota. Tiente almost caught, but he's able to find it back. He's double teamed. And then he fouls Jimmy Noel. It's Wilfred Camden who had dropped back.
And a foul out of frustration, and not Wilfred Camden's strong point. I don't think he'll mind me saying that defensively, but because he's playing centrally, he's being called into a lot of defensive work. It's a heavy touch by Camden. He wants to fight back to earn possession after being double-teamed. It's a foul out of frustration. But is he being utilized for his best assets being played down the middle of the park?
It's a good question. We'll see how it shakes out. Foul called. Tiente takes the free kick. Sandoval. Camden gets away from him. Cover, plays it forward. Noel with the nice turn on Herrera. Noel hits the brakes. Floats in across. Jaden will try to run it down. He will. Cisse there to defend, knocks it out for a throw.
And again, City doing everything right. Smart play, shielding the ball, earning a deep throw in. You've got the weapon of the long throw. A little bit too early to hold the ball in the corner right now, particularly if we're expecting several minutes of stoppage. But you can still run the clock in these moments.
Jaden with the turn, cleared by Irving. Bakota mixing it up. You think he's going to go long throw, but then he goes short and catches you by surprise.
And I also think he's luring them into a false sense of security. He's going to do a couple of shorts and then launch it when they're most unorganized.
He's about to launch a cross, but he mishit it. Playtez will grab it. 86th minute, Atlanta City, the 7th seed coming into the postseason. They've got the 2-1 lead. Header won by Irasubiza. Flowers tries to spin away from a couple of KSA players. Unable to connect with Noel. Throw for Herrera.
It's interesting to me, though, still leaving 2 players forward, even when they're caught defensively. A lot of the times with teams, when you're trying to hold out a lead, when you're trying to earn the championship trophy for the Georgia decision, you start to park the bus. You start to bring all 11 players back. City not doing that today.
Free kick played long, flicked over to Sumo. Sumo, cross, back post, headed down. Nobody there except for Valverde.
Keeper's got to come for that one, though, for me. It bounces inside his 6-yard box. It would have been a great opportunity to come claim, hold the ball. Instead, you give the ball back to KSA with the throw.
It's a little bit of that experience. Irving. Valverde goes up to win the header. Okonkwo will take the throw. Quickly to Damfa. Okonkwo, low, blocked by cover. Herrera floats it into the 18. Manzi comes for it, doesn't get it. Cleared up into the sky. Jaden and Cisse trying to bring it down. Jaden able to reach around and get the touch. Forward to Jules. Jules gets past Irving. Jules can't get past Herrera. Great tackle from Kevin Herrera.
Brilliant recovery by Herrera there, and then turning on the guns to charge forwards.
Cleared away from Herrera. Whistle blown as Jules was coming back from an offside position in the 88th minute.
Need to see the work rate from Jules now. He's exhausted, completely understand it. But if you're going to leave your forwards forward, they've got to lead the defensive efforts.
Sandoval's pass, not a good one behind its intended target. Cleared. Cisse tries to climb the ladder to get it. Jules does instead. Plays it through to Jaden. He's hit by Irving. Is it enough? Yes, it is. Penalty, Atlanta City.
Need to get another look at that one to see just how much contact there is here. Cisse gets caught out of position again and then trying to make the recovery. It's a clashing of the legs and there's no contact on the ball, which is why the referees pulled for the penalty kick here. City with a golden opportunity to put this match to bed.
Irving doesn't come in shoulder to shoulder. He goes in with the hip and the leg. I think that's what gets the call. Playtez arguing it. And remember, Playtez had a moment earlier with Demyanchuk. You can't melt down here because, like I said about last week, it was 4-1 Atlanta City in stoppage time, and it turned to 4-3 with Dalton United getting opportunities to tie it.
Playtez really needs to make sure he's focused again on the one thing he can do. He's about to be asked to make a save from 12 yards. You can't be hot-headed in this moment. You have to be composed. Your team's opportunity right now is kind of hanging on you. And as we know, for a penalty, goalkeeper is always the underdog. Expecting some goalkeeping manipulation here from Playtez, a little bit of the Emiliano Martinez style.
We are just less than a year ago when Emiliano Martinez did a little shimmy after a couple saves against the Netherlands in a World Cup quarterfinal. Not sure what all of the arguing is. He wasn't offside, so there's really no complaint with the AR. Bakota, I think, knows that Playtez has a little bit of an issue keeping his cool, maybe trying to provoke. Playtez finally backing up to his goal line. Thierry Jules will take the penalty. 90th minute now. Atlanta City can stretch the lead to 2. Thierry Jules puts it away. Goal, 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 Atlanta City. Jules is 8th of the postseason, and the visitors have a 2-goal lead going into stoppage time.
Thierry Jules, cool, calm, composed from the spot and slots it home. Wrong foot in the goalkeeper, just passes it into that bottom right-hand side, and he has just been the catalyst for Atlanta City's success in the postseason. Absolutely brilliant.
First time he gets on the board tonight, but he's been involved so much with his movement off the ball. The time's going to get added back on again. These are guys with KSA who have been around the block as much as Sergei Demyanchuk. They know how this works. He's going to give them the time back after the celebration.
For Jules, though, just so glad to see him rewarded. We talked a lot about him being an unsung hero, making the runs, creating space for others to thrive. For Jules to get that stat to his name as a forward, brilliant.
Flicked inside. Manzi's got to pounce on it. He does eventually. Sumo falls on top of him.
But Manzi, again, just a bit too tentative, and it's to do with his starting position here as we see Sandoval getting the card here.
Sandoval with a push. Irasubiza making a lot of it.
Get a second look at where this foul comes from. Sandoval with a cheeky little back heel, a good through ball. Goalkeeper caught in no man's land, pounces on the leftovers.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a leg drop by Sumo. I think he could have avoided falling on the goalkeeper. But even at that point, it's okay. And then the arguing, Sandoval pushes Irasubiza. He goes down to make a point of it. He's going to get the yellow card, and the time's just going to continue to roll.
And it tells you a lot when it's not the player that commits the initial offense that's getting the yellow card. It's for the after effects and the push, like you said, Jason. But if I'm KSA again, I'm taking a glance at Manzi. I get it. He's young. But his tentative starting position has been a little costly in moments, and KSA haven't been able to capitalize on it. They need to find some service into that edge of the box and try and lure the goalkeeper off his line.
Flowers subbed out. 2 goals on the night. Atlanta City getting some fresh legs in here in stoppage time. Free kick will be eventually taken. Down the middle, Jules doesn't win the header. Irving does. Gets it a second time. Bakota dispossessed by Tiente. Sandoval spins to his left. Drives through the middle. Bakota runs him down. Sandoval throws an elbow at Bakota. Bakota's called for the foul. Very aggressive shielding attempt there from Junior Sandoval on the yellow card. Foul called, free kick KSA.
Again, goes the way of Sandoval, but has to be smart in that moment. You've seen referees blow fouls for the movement of the arm there as he looked to shield the ball. Wasn't necessarily a natural position to be looking to protect possession as another
Sumo with a red. Sumo gets the red, I think, for talking, and it's been a lot of that. Told you coming into the match that Sergei Demyanchuk, who has refereed at very high levels, is not going to put up with dissent. He did for a long time, and I think he warned people many times that it was time to stop. Sumo gets the red in stoppage time.
And I hate to say we prophesized it, but we talked a lot about Sumo and letting this game go to his head too much. We're seeing the after effect here of him still petitioning that it shouldn't be a red card. But it's disappointing because we've seen the talent that Sumo has in bursts. I don't think we got to see his full potential today in such a key match because he was so distracted by everything else going on. And this really the cherry on the top for him in a bad night at the office, getting the red card most likely for saying something pretty awful to the referee.
No idea what the complaint is either because it could have been a foul the other way. Tiente launches the free kick. It's saved by Manzi, and there's the final whistle. Atlanta City runs through the gauntlet to win the UPSL Georgia Premier Division title for the first time. They beat the number 2 seed in the quarterfinal. They beat the number 1 seed in the semifinal, and they beat the number 3 seed tonight. Atlanta City are your champions.
Don't ever use the word underdog when it comes to Atlanta City anymore. They have shown that that is just a name tag. It takes to beat the best to be crowned the best, and Atlanta City have knocked off opponent and opponent again and again that they have expected to fall to. They deserved it. They were the better team on the night, creating the better opportunities, and it will be Atlanta City to represent the Georgia UPSL Conference in the Premier Division National Championship.
Joao Johanning Mora, the manager of Atlanta City, his first title here in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division. Atlanta City, 2 goals from Uworth Flowers, 1 from Thierry Jules. That's enough to knock off KSA Pro Profile and advance into the national tournament. We're going to come back with highlights and the trophy presentation and more thoughts on the UPSL Georgia Premier Division playoff champions, Atlanta City. Welcome back to Snellville. Atlanta City FC pulling off 3 upsets in a row according to the seeds. They were 4-5-3 in the regular season. Now they're 7-5-3 after 3 playoff wins against the top 3 seeds in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division. Jason Longshore alongside Jessica Charman. And Jess, we thought there'd be fireworks. We thought there'd be cards. We thought there'd be a lot of fouls. There's also a lot of great play between these 2 teams that know each other so well, but it was the collective of Atlanta City that beat the individuals of KSA.
And I think that's what soccer's about, right? At the end of the day, individual players are fantastic. Individual talent is great. But when it's 11 versus 11, it's going to be the team that's able to find its chemistry, to be cohesive on the pitch, to rally around each other that has the most success. And when you look at it from the big picture, it felt like KSA were their own worst enemies in moments, trying for individual brilliance or not quite being on the same page as each other, whereas Atlanta City grinded together, had each other's backs, and that was the success. You don't have a fairy tale victory like we saw for City without that cohesiveness, and it all stems from the coaching, Jason.
You could see the way that they wanted to play. It didn't always come off, but you could see the idea there consistently from Atlanta City. The execution at times lacking. I think it was for both teams. It's a final. I think you can expect that, especially on a wet field. The final, the nerves sometimes can be a little tough to deal with. But Atlanta City, 2 goals from Eworth Flowers, a penalty late from Thierry Jules, and they're able to get it done against this KSA team that has won this league before, that has players that have won championships in many leagues. Atlanta City handled things very well for a young team.
What I loved about them was the fact they didn't come in scared. They felt like they belonged on that pitch. When you look back at the start of both the first and second halves, it was always Atlanta City bringing that energy, bringing that tempo, bringing that fearless attack. And that's what you need. You need to have that belief and that mindset, no matter how old you are. If you're good enough to play at this level, you belong at this level. And that's the message that Atlanta City is sending out right now. They don't have a fear for anybody. And that's the sort of mentality that can get you far in a tournament, in a national championship, when you're facing other teams that may be more experienced than you. But if you have the right attitude, the right belief, and the right cohesiveness, you can be successful. But for Atlanta City, I think the biggest thing that they'll take from this game, on top of being victorious, is the fact defensively they were able to shut up shop. When you saw it being a 1-goal scoreline with 15 minutes left to go, you would expect City to be a little nervous based on their history, based on how defensively, 4-3 the scorelines in their previous matches, to be able to adjust and defend against a KSA which has a very dangerous front four. You've done a really good job.
Yeah, and it was subtle things. They never lost their identity. It was little things like Bakota dropping a little deeper at times, Flowers dropping a little deeper when he needed to. But they were also fearless in the sense that Thierry Jules and Camus Jaden stayed up really high. It was always 2v2, and KSA had to respect the possibility of Jules or Jaden getting in behind, and they ultimately earned the penalty in that kind of setup.
Looking for the third goal. You made the MLS Cup comparison, so I'll go there as well. With Columbus having a 1-goal lead against LAFC, they didn't go to the corner. They didn't shut up shop. They were always looking for the third goal. That's what Atlanta City did as well. They trusted their forward line to go into attack, and that shows the belief they have in their players. They never felt like they were going to lose. They never felt like they had to park the bus, sit 11 back, time waste. They knew their individual ability and cohesiveness as a team would come through, and they're getting the right to celebrate.
Atlanta City getting all the pictures, going to be all over the gram and every other form of social media you can find.
That's a great
Let's
call
take a
by
look
the
at how
referee,
it
because
happened.
he was looking for the advantage, pulls it back, and City taking that quick.
Jaden squares it inside. Flowers first time. Goal, goal. KSA pulled it even here from the spot with Patrick Okonkwo. Rifled that one past Shafi Manzi. This was the go-ahead goal. Flowers on the back post. Thierry Jules added a penalty, and Atlanta City able to get the win 3-1, and they're about to get their hands on the trophy. Lewin Frazier, Patrick Roach, our league executives who will be presenting medals and presenting the trophy. That's your champions, Atlanta City FC. They will be moving on to the UPSL National Tournament. We'll lay out the bracket for you here in just a bit. But we don't want to miss this team lifting the trophy for the first time in club history. These are always well-rehearsed moments. Who's going to get their hands on the trophy? Who's going to lift it up? We've even talked about a man of the match. We'll have to get into that and give our unofficial vote for that here in a minute.
I think there's a lovely speech going on, but the boys are all just looking at that trophy like, I want to get my hands on it first.
They want the trophy. They want the medal. You can see Joao Johanning Mora, the manager in the black jacket. Experience at the professional level, experience at all levels of Atlanta soccer, and passing that on to his young team, Atlanta City. They're going to get their medals first. Ellie Bakota leading the way. We'll talk man of the match now. Eworth Flowers had 2 goals. Thierry Jules had a goal. I thought Ellie Bakota was so strong. We talked a lot about the players on the back line. Valverde, you liked Mejia a good bit. What's your vote for man of the match?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because your gut tells you to go with Flowers because of the goals. And I think that his finishing was really brilliant, composed, great areas. And I like the 2 different goals because one of them's all about the finish and one of them's about just taking a gamble and flying into an area. So I think he gets a definite nod. But I also think Bakota needs the nod because of how he pulls the strings. Without him in the middle of the park, no other player gets the chance to shine. And I thought he had very good discipline and maturity, moving the ball around and also understanding when he had to sit. He might not necessarily get the stats in terms of the goals, but he makes this team tick, the metronome, as you called him during the broadcast.
I'll give the shout to Thierry Jules as well, even though it took a goal from the penalty spot for him to get on the board. I thought he was so active and draw so much attention from KSA, and some of that's just because of reputation, the run he's been on, his size, but he delivered so many different ways for Atlanta City tonight.
His movement, it is brilliant, and like we talked about, a lot of time you see a player with his size and you assume he's going to be very one-dimensional. He's going to be a target, he's going to hold the ball up, he's going to be good on set plays. But Jules is so mobile and understands the game so well and understands the role that he has in diverting attention away from other players by being the target. And that's why the second goal happens. The second goal, it's his movement towards that front post that allows Flowers the open run on target. So I think he's a fantastic player. I just wish he had had that goal with that flick-on header in the first half, because that would have been brilliant.
A very fluid 3-4-3 setup for Atlanta City. Joao Johanning Mora getting his medal. Very well earned. Great coaching job by Joao. And we're going to get the trophy handed off to Jonathan Valverde first. And Atlanta City are your UPSL Georgia Premier Division champions. First time in club history for Atlanta City to lift that trophy, and they're not done. They will be going into the UPSL National Tournament. They're going to face the winner of the Kentucky-Tennessee division. We know that's pre-college DA out of Tennessee facing St. Louis City, their academy team in the UPSL. That game will be played very quickly next week, and it will be here in the Atlanta area. We'll have the broadcast for you on Atlantic Soccer Media Group's YouTube channel. It will be at Atlanta Silverbacks Park either next Saturday or Sunday. And the winner of that matchup will face a team that you know very well, Charlotte FC, potentially, as they play Arlington SA Pro on the other side of the bracket.
It's just so exciting when you get to diversify the bracket, travel to different areas, see what the rest of the U.S. has in hands. I'll say maybe we're biased, but this Atlanta bracket is extremely strong, and they'll be represented by Atlanta City, a side that has learned so much about themselves. And as we know, when it comes to playoffs, It's all about getting hot at the right time. It's all about momentum. And with 3 wins against significant opponents, this Atlanta City side will feel like they can beat absolutely anyone they share a pitch with.
Absolutely fearless, complete belief in the way that they play, a lot of togetherness in this group, and Atlanta City are your UPSL Georgia Premier Division playoff champions all the way from the 7th seed. What a win tonight, 3-1 over KSA Pro Profile. Got to snap that one for posterity. They will move on to play the winners of Pre-College DA and St. Louis City in the national tournament. Next week, Silverbacks Park. Make sure you are following Atlantic Soccer Media Group for all of the updated information on kick times and how you can attend or how you can watch. Subscribe to ASMG on YouTube and subscribe on your social media platforms as well. Final thoughts from you, Jess.
Just what a brilliant game of football, and I think the best team won on the night. It's about playing together. It's about having quality individuals that step up, but most importantly, it's about a never say die attitude. Doesn't matter how experienced you are, if you come to play, the beautiful thing about soccer is the best team will come out on top.
A lot of people thought it would be Atlanta United who won this trophy this year. They led the league a long time, ended up falling short. A lot of people thought Dalton United would repeat as champions. They fell short in the semifinals. A lot of people thought KSA would reclaim the trophy tonight. They fell short to this same Atlanta City side that gets it done and lifts the trophy and moves on to the national tournament next week. For Jessica Charman, for everybody here with Atlantic Soccer Media Group, I'm Jason Longshore signing off. 3-1 win for Atlanta City tonight in the championship.
Hey coach, is your game going to be live streamed? Can't find a broadcast partner? I have the solution for you. It's time to contact the Atlantic Soccer Media Group. The Atlantic Soccer Media Group will provide you with the most extensive live coverage and affordable rates to bring your club's matches to your fans. So they will never miss any of the action.
Good ball laid off to that far side. Shot ripped. It's in! Dalton United at the death of the game! They go ahead, and this stadium is sent to raptures.
And bring them along with you as you raise the trophy.
Gentlemen, say it with them. They are the champions.
So what are you waiting for the best and easiest coverage, national exposure, attract sponsors, interact with your fans, work with scouts from around the world? Contact the Atlantic Soccer Media Group.
This has been a presentation of the UPSL. Any use of this broadcast without the written consent of the Atlantic Soccer Media Group is prohibited.